This is Logan from CigarFederation.com here, Cigar Chat, live one day before Black Friday, Friday the 13th, November 12th, 2015. How's everyone doing tonight? Well, you can't really talk to me, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really care how you guys are doing. So we've got our guest tonight. I think we're on episode like 145, so we're getting up there. We've got Juan, and I know it's Cancel, but how many people call you Juan Cancel?
Everybody.
Okay. So that means I got it right. I didn't completely screw it up, and I'm not as idiotic, white idiot as I look.
Correct, sir.
Yes, done. And then we have Bill Ives. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, sir? How are you?
Very good, very good. Glad to have you guys on. I think it's going to be a fun show. Most of the people that we have on this show are people who have, I wouldn't say necessarily pedigrees, but have backgrounds in the cigar industry, and, their father made cigars, they made cigars, or they've had brands where I think it's going to be very interesting to talk to you guys tonight, because you guys are kind of just cigar lovers and then kind of, happened to fall into it and made a cigar, and it's been wildly successful. So very curious. I know our audience has a ton of questions. So let's dive right into it. So everyone that doesn't know, I would say, what was it, the beginning of this year? Maybe like May-ish?
May.
Was that right?
No, that's when it came out. May 16th, the day after my birthday.
Day after your birthday, released the Protocol cigar, but this is not the name of their company. I'm going to try to pronounce it, and I'm going to absolutely butcher it because I am a white gringo. Is it Cubariqueño?
Exactly.
Is that really right?
No, you're right.
Okay. Oh, I was like, yes.
It's Cuba. Say it with me.
Cuba.
Can. Yo. Cubariqueño.
Yay!
The Spanish people say Cubariqueño, but I would
So, okay, I'll screw it up again before the night. So let's start there. What does, I already forgot, Cubariqueño stand for?
All right, so Cubariqueño is a name that me and Billy came up with. It's basically, in Spanish, if you're Cuban, you're Cubano. In Spanish, if you're Puerto Rican, you're Puerto Riqueño. So we put it together, we made our own word, Cubariqueño. It's basically paying homage to Billy's Cuban side and my Puerto Rican side together, Cubariqueño. Boom. That's what we came up with.
Got it.
I think two fat guys was taken.
Yeah. Fat Pescados was taken. That was the original idea.
You could have called your company like High Body Mass Index or something really creative. But no, that makes a lot of sense. So let me ask you, how many times have you guys been asked what that stands for? 100 at least?
Yeah.
Well, just coming up with a name is like ridiculous.
That's the hardest part about making a cigar, is coming up with a name for your company.
It's not trademarked.
And it's not trademarked, thank God. And we basically made our own word up, and it's pretty funny, actually. So we applied for the trademark for Cubariqueño, and it got denied because it said you cannot use a country's name or whatever. And the quote, they actually quoted a press conference I put out saying that the Cubariqueño name came from being Cuban and Puerto Rican together. And they're like, oh, you can't do that. Sorry, boom. So they didn't give us a trademark, but that means nobody else can trademark it. So it's the name we use.
Safe.
It's safe. We do have the LLC on it, so that's an important aspect of it. But I thought it was pretty comical to use my own press release against me.
That's pretty awesome, though, actually.
This schmuck said this. And
that backfired on us.
It backfired. Trying to do a good job and promote your company actually backfired on you. That'll be a first in a marketing class someday, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about, tell me a little bit about you guys' backgrounds. I know you guys have, been smoking cigars for a long time. Just tell all the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you kind of got up to the point before making the Protocol.
All right. So I started basically with Facebook and Instagram about 4 or 5 years ago. I opened up an Instagram account, and I've been smoking pretty much, I want to say all my life I've been pretty much smoking cigars, where it's funny, and you hear people say that, but I'll tell you my individual story with it. My grandfather actually practiced a religion called Santeria. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it.
And a Sublime song.
Within Santeria, a lot of the not seances. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot of the rituals
where they kill chickens.
They kill chickens. Besides that, but they use a lot of tobacco. They use a lot of cigars. And what they do with they actually do a lot of the rituals with cigars. I always love the smell of cigar. And what I would do is he basically smoke a cigar and he put it down for the saints. That's Watala Chango cigar. And I go next to it. I pick it up. I start smoking it. I smoked the whole thing. He come out like 2 hours later. Wow, the saints are happy.
They really love the cigar. That's awesome.
Cigar. I'm like, yeah, Grandpa, they must be really gonna grant your wishes. But so that's how it started with me. So when I got into my adulthood, I started smoking. I would smoke the like Garcia Vegas and the Habitampas and the, that kind of stuff, Swishers and all that good stuff. And it wasn't until about '98 when somebody first exposed me to premium cigars, and the first one was a Excalibur. It was the first premium cigar I ever smoked, and I loved it. And basically just been smoking a lot since then. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I opened up my Instagram account. I started posting pictures of cigars on there and started doing my own little reviews, like things I would pick up, like cocoa notes, and everybody was making fun of the cocoa notes and the leather and all that stuff. But that's things that were the notes I picked up on. And then from there, it just kind of grew. I would get, instant messages. Can you please review this cigar, that cigar? And then it just kept on going. And me being a huge cigar geek, I actually would look for events that would have Rocky Patel and Eric Espinoza and all that stuff. Certain guys would be there, and I'd go visit them. I'm a big, huge fanboy, Jonathan and all that. And that's how I kind of got involved in the industry of just basically knowing these guys. And then through just progression, one day, it was presented to us. Why not make a cigar one day? And I was like, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be tight, yeah.
And I could not think of anybody else I'd rather do it than my partner over here, Billy Ives. And then so we think who we're gonna use to make our cigars. We have so many people we know. And at the time, I was a real big Espinoza fanboy, and I was like, I love everything these guys are making. So I actually went up to Eric one day and I asked him at an event, and he was like, yeah, next time I'm in the New York, New Jersey area, we'll come down. And had a meeting over here, and it was successful. And we agreed, and a few months later, boom, now we got this, smoking this off of that.
First of all, if I knew that they practice Santeria, my mom would probably not even let me be friends with this guy. Number one.
Probably. It's a lime song. It's for real, man.
Yeah, I had pretty much the same thing. I was probably in high school. I started smoking cigars, but we were smoking, whatever we can get our hands on.
Non-premium handmade cigars is what you were smoking.
And then, a little after that, I started getting into the mainstream cigars out there. And then, like everybody else, smoke something heavy and get the sweats and think I'm going to throw up in about 2 minutes. And that just morphed into being like a heavy cigar smoker. I met this guy, and it was funny. He says, hey, in his big, loud voice, hey, did you get my message on Facebook? So I go, no. I said, what'd you say? Oh, I sent you a message. You didn't get it?
You weren't friends, were you?
So I go,
what's your other folder?
He goes, I called you a big, fat a-hole, right? So I said, Juan, I'm not even on Facebook. So I look it up. He sends another Bill Ives, who's like decorated veteran, this message.
That's awesome.
So then I got involved in it and that with social media, and it just took off. And we both wanted to do the cigar eventually. And my goal was always to at least get a cigar out before this FDA regulations comes out, because we don't know what's going to happen. And my goal was that was always my dream, at least to have a cigar. And at least we made it happen. So right now we're, just monitoring, seeing what's going to happen with this FDA thing. So hopefully it works out.
Right. Well, that leads into a good question from the audience, Chris Bros. And he asked, are you actually worried about the FDA regulations? Because unfortunately, you guys are doing this about 7 years too late, where if the FDA does come down, unless you guys want to fork up about $500,000 to get the protocol through the FDA certification process, which I would probably tell you not to do, where you guys are kind of out of business. I mean, are you guys worried about it? I mean, are you cold sweats at night?
About it. I keep reading stuff, and I'm updating Juan on it. The only thing I kind of have like a little bit of hope for is, the FDA sent the option 1, I guess, which was the worst for the cigar business, to the White House. And from what I've been reading, the White House has been siding sort of with the premium cigar industry. So hopefully,
OMB, yep.
Yeah, hopefully whatever ruling comes out there, maybe we'll be stayed as a smaller company. But if not, it's probably not going to happen. And it'll be interesting, what you're left with. How many companies? I wonder if there'll be like bootlegging of cigars and everything else like that.
It's insane. In my opinion, this whole regulation thing is basically going against the American dream of small business ownership and entrepreneurism and stuff. You got 2 small guys like me and Bill that want to have our own own business and chase the American dream, and it's our government who's actually possibly stopping us from attaining that dream of owning a cigar company with these new regulations. I don't know if they understand the brevity of their actions by doing that. You really kill the small guy. Little boutique, all the boutique guys, they're gone if that happens. And it's real important to join CRA. Me and Bill always talking about joining CRA, and we tell anybody willing to listen, join CRA and write letters to your congressman and tell them about your freedom to smoke. It's bad enough you can't smoke hardly anywhere right now. You can't smoke outside now. You can't smoke in a park. You can't smoke in bars.
We're in Jersey. It's pretty bad. I'm sure that everywhere. But you're in Texas, right?
I'm in Austin. But Austin's like the blue dot in the middle of a red state. A very red state. And so, here is not smoker friendly whatsoever. Period.
Yeah.
It's probably like Jersey, pretty Jersey-esque, I would assume, here in Austin. But I live in the burbs in Round Rock. Yeah, it's no problem. Right. But I think it's interesting that you bring up about the FDA is, you're right. And I think at the end of the day, the argument is not about the right to smoke. I think the argument is the American dream and jobs. And if you boil it down to that, and you look at the consequences of not people being able to smoke cigars, but the consequences of taking out thousands and thousands of brick and mortar shops that employ our mom and pop, that employ a couple of people here and there, and then people like yourselves that lose that income, I think, it's could be pretty catastrophic. So, my fingers are crossed. I'm kind of counting down. I'm reading every single day to see if something's come out. So hopefully, fingers crossed. But for everyone listening out there, let me just say, the government, this is just number 1. This is just step 1. If they don't take the axe to premium cigars now, this is just step 1. Then there'll be step 2. There'll be step 3. And I'll tell you, as I was in Europe, a couple of months ago for Intertobac, right, and you think these regulations are bad, go to Germany. Holy crap. Like, you can't do anything. You can't even have a T-shirt with a cigar company's logo on it because you cannot advertise. Dude, it's absurd. When I was talking to some of the media people over there, they're like, why are you wearing a Drew Estate shirt? You could get them in trouble. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? They're like, yeah. So I had to take the shirt off. It was absurd. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing. So let's just say anything, CRA, email, write your congressman, do it now before it's too late. So with that being said, let's talk about the protocol. So you have a company, you've kind of know Eric Espinoza. How did the protocol come into existence? Were you down in Nicaragua, made up a few blends and thought, well, hell, let's just give this a go? Was it something like intentionally done? Kind of tell us a story how the protocol came to exist.
Yeah. Want me to do it?
Yeah, you give that story.
I did it the last time. All right, I'll do it again. So basically, we sat down with Eric actually in this very room. This is a holy room to us. Eric sat right over there where Fernando's sitting now. And he sat there, and I was taking pictures of him all the whole time. And Bill was screaming at me like, "We're trying to conduct business here." I'm like, "I'm trying to just post this on social media. We got like Eric Espinoza actually talking to us, blah blah blah." So after all that was said and done, he said yes. We had a nice dinner afterwards. As you can see, we're two big, robust guys, and food is always involved in everything.
Right.
We close deals. So the next step was actually figuring out. Eric always tell us, think of a name because doing the cigar is the easiest part. I thought he was insane saying that. No way. That's got to be the hardest part. It's got to be, the name. The cigar itself. He goes, nope, you're going to be done with that before you know it. I was like, all right. So Hector Alphonse Sr., which is the master blender for La Zona, actually contacted us. And we sat down with Hector, and since me and Bill have full-time jobs, you know, we just can't take a week in the middle of nowhere at any time and go to Nicaragua and stuff. You know, our vacation is limited, our time is limited, so we gotta pick and choose where we go and what we do. So that's very unique with me and Bill, because you know we have full-time jobs and we both work a crazy amount of hours. So we spoke to Hector. Hector basically picked our brains and asked us, you know, give me your top 5 favorite cigars, each one of us. What kind of wrappers you like? What kind of binders? What kind of fillers? You know, what kind of tobacco you want to see? What would you like to see? And we sat there and we basically picked our brain. And after us talking to him, I want to say the whole thing lasted about 3 or 4 weeks. He goes, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a few samples together, put a few blends, give me some time, I'll send them to you. About 3 months later, we got 9 different blends labeled 1 to 9. And Hector told us that he actually blended these with our palettes and our, you know, flavor profile, you know, what we wanted. And he said, you know, smoke them and let me know. So I gave him his 9. It was actually 18. It was 18 and 18. So I gave him his, and I took mine, and we didn't really call each other up like, oh, did you believe how good number 2 was? Because, you know, Bill loves number 2. Anyway, so
it's a hard being in the business with this guy.
Giggity.
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 So we actually didn't talk about it. We just sat there and we smoked 1 to 9. And when we were all done, me and him came together. He goes, all right, what's your top 3? And the number 1 we both chose, you know, identical, was this blend right here. And the other 2 was, his 2 was my 3 was his 2. But I said, you know what, I'm not even worried about that. We picked the number 1, let's go with this. And then the next part was trying to figure out what size we want. So, and then we said, all right, let's do a Toro, let's do a Corona Gordo, let's do a Lancero, let's do a Robusto, and he basically sent a few of each, and we smoked them. And in one of the orders, I actually messed up, and I ordered, instead of ordering the Corona Gordos, I ordered a double Corona. They actually wound up smoking fantastic.
Yeah.
And me and him are going to use those for our personal blend, so we could stop smoking our products, you know, like,
right.
You know, don't get high off your own supply, so we got to stop doing it.
Man.
Because at one point we didn't care. We didn't think we were going to sell any, but now when we started selling them, we're like, oh man, you know, we got to kind of slow down smoking them. So we're actually going to do the double Coronas for ourselves. They smoke fantastic. And basically, once we figure out the size, we went with the Toro because the Toro is very, you know, ground ball down the middle. It satisfies and pleases the larger ring gauge guys, the medium ring gauge guys. You know, you can't get more ground ball down the middle than a 6x52. And then we went with the Corona Gordo, which is the connoisseur size, you know, the cigar connoisseur size, which is 5 5/8 by 46. And, you know, it's funny. They're actually both the same exact blend, but they smoke so differently.
Completely different.
Completely different. It's amazing. You would think it's different blends, but it's not. It's basically, you know, the wrapper to binder filler ratio is larger on the Toro, so you don't taste the the filler as much. I'll tell you a little bit about the blend itself. It's the wrapper is an Ecuadorian Habano Escudo wrapper. The binder is a Nicaraguan Habano, and then the filler is a quadruple ligero from Jalapa and Esteli. And what you would think would be a powerful cigar because of the 4 ligeros in there, actually the double Habano really creams it out, smooths it out, and really balances it very well. And it smokes great. It still has that power. Like you retrohale this. Have you tried retrohaling these?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like through the nose. Yeah. So I mean, it's. Yeah, there's a lot of people on Cigar Federation that we're talking about today that, oh my God, I'm scared of the 4 ligeros like that are in the blend. And I mean, I've smoked some pretty rough ligero before, and you can definitely feel it through the nose, and you're like, oh my God, it's terrible. For having 4 leaves, and it's 4 full leaves of ligero in the filler, that's all you use.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't taste like that. Like it's actually very, very. It's not that it's not strong. It's not the right word, but it's not like rough. Do you know what I mean? Like it's very smooth, very mellow. It's not harsh. Yeah, that's a good word for it. It's not harsh at all.
They have to sit and age, and that was something.
This is the key. This is the key, right?
They have to sit and age, and you know, when you get them right off the table and they ship without aging, when we were testing them out, this cigar will knock you out right off the bat.
I can imagine.
30 days, if he had to like take his clothes off, he was sitting naked on the couch, like, woo. 30 days is rough. 60 days, a little bit better. And 90 days, it was a minimum of 90 days for us to smoke the way it's smoking now. So that's always a big problem with us. Like with our first production, it was actually, we did 5,000 cigars and then we're gone in 9 weeks. So there was no way for us to even foresee that. Like he actually, realistically, we talked about it, we spoke about it. He figured it was going to be gone in a year. I said probably 6 months. None of us really thought it was going to be gone in 9 weeks. So that's what happened with the long lapse from when we released the first production run to this one, because it takes 30 days once you make them just for them to, 90 days for them to sit.
Chill out, yep.
Chill out, because we don't want to rush these and send them people. Next thing you know, we're going to get ER bills, people going to the emergency rooms. Bill to Cubariqueño Cigar Company. And we're like, so definitely they got to sit the 90 days.
So this is a really great question. Now that you guys have kind of been, you've done it, you've made your own cigar, and we'll talk about kind of the second release that's coming up here. But a great question is, let me just find it here. How is this kind of the first run of 5,000 and the subsequent run you're doing now? How has this changed your life as a result of this venture into creating Protocol?
It's amazing. To me, it's, first I started out when just purchasing at the trade shows for Berkeley Humidor here in New Jersey. And that changed me a little bit. I was, you're just kind of like walking through the trade show and you meet everybody and you're learning the business. And then this year we're actually there and we're actually selling our cigars. So that was a little weird and it was exciting at the same time. And the other thing is, it's picked up so much traction on social media that people, know about it and they know that we're associated with it. So that's kind of like, wow, I can't believe, I'm listening to somebody talk in an interview and they mentioned Protocol, So that's, for me, that's probably been the biggest thing. And we've made mistakes along the way. We're learning, we don't know everything here. So it's kind of like we're taking a slow approach to everything. And we had a couple bumps in the road, but, we'll figure it out. And hopefully we get to keep doing this, It's been fun.
The bottom line is, you kind of touched on it before, me and Bill weren't born into this. It's not like we were born in the fields of Cuba and our mothers wrapped us up in ligero leaves and took us to the house.
You were wrapped in swaddling clothes made of ligero.
First of all, they don't have leaves that big in Puerto Rico to wrap him. So.
To wrap you in them. That's awesome.
At heart, we're just like everybody else watching this show. We're just cigar nerds, cigar geeks. We're passionate about cigars. This is just like a dream come true. Sometimes we, picture ourselves. We just can't believe it. We're just like you guys. We're just two guys that are fanatics and spend way much more money than we need to on cigars. And if my wife saw my cigar bill, she'd freaking have a heart attack. And, I still consider myself a big-time consumer. I smoke different things. The biggest difference from the first one and the second one, it's still, to me, and I'm sure to him too, it's just still kind of a fun thing. It's a good thing that we don't, this is not our bread and butter in the sense that, if we don't open up so many accounts, we're still okay because we're doing this kind of like a hobby that's going to probably turn into, hopefully, if the FDA doesn't crush us, it's going to turn into a nice business one day. And, I couldn't be happier to be part of La Zona. And we're very happy. Just really quick, I got two special guests in the house. Fernando, Mr. National from La Zona. Come over here. Let's say hello. He's in the house. He's the National Sales Director for La Zona. Say hello to
Hi, guys.
Get to go down.
What's going on, Robert? How's everything going there, guys?
Very good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just making sure my boys here don't say anything that could detriment us in any way.
Eric flew him up just
to make sure he wouldn't screw it up.
Lives and Juan Cancel are solely Upgo Lives and Juan Cancel, and do not represent La Zona or Espinosa Cigars in any way whatsoever.
In any way whatsoever.
Hilarious. There you go.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, you guys kind of mentioned this here. Oh, you got one more person.
Yes, real quick. Jose Galvez, he's the Vice President of International Sales for La Zona.
They made you Vice President?
I just gave him the promotion.
I didn't get the memo.
I apparently did not.
I guess that paycheck's gonna come out of Cubariqueño, I guess.
I don't know, man. International sales. So were you at Intertabac or not?
I'm saying, say again?
Were you at Intertabac?
Say yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't see you there. Promotion must have happened after Enter Tobacco.
He had dreadlocks then. He just cut them off when he got here. That's what
He's
happened.
never had dreadlocks. He's like the most clean cut dude I know.
The most what fake?
Clean cut.
Clean cut, relax.
It was
Yeah, got nice trimmed up beard. Dude, I'm trying to give you a damn compliment.
I could hear over Juan and Bill huffing and puffing over here.
We generate our own gravitational pull, and it kind of messes up with the magnetic energy.
Dude, yeah, you're like Jupiter. What's a big planet? Jupiter? Saturn?
Uranus?
Uranus. Damn it! I was just about to say that.
I was just gonna say it, but I was waiting for that.
I was waiting for someone to say it. It's awesome.
Stole it from me. I go back over there because you stole my Uranus. Give me back Uranus.
Give me back Uranus. Here's another question I think is, you kind of already talked about it a little bit, but, you know, we kind of alluded to this a little bit, but, you know, what is kind of as much as you want to share, what is kind of the biggest mistake that you think you've made thus far? Was it not making enough cigars in the first run? Was it not having your second production run ready quick enough to meet demand? I mean, what do you think the biggest mistake you guys have made thus far is?
I wouldn't say it was not having enough cigars, because we thought we were going to sit on these for a while. And when you really, you know, when you're sitting there and you're paying for this stuff, you're like, 5,000 cigars. Is anybody going to buy this? You know, we'll smoke them eventually. What do you think our biggest mistake was?
I want to say it was a curse and a blessing at the same time. So I'll tell you the story. So when we're smoking the blend in here, and we're downstairs in the lounge at Berkeley Humidor, basically our hangout in our office now, we're sitting there and we're smoking the prototype protocol, and we're enjoying it. The owner comes in, Bill Agat, this great guy. He comes in, he goes, "What are you guys smoking?" He was like, "We're smoking a cigar that we're going to make." He goes, "Is this your cigar?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is our cigar." He goes, "Let me try it." He lights one up, smoking it. Wow, he's like, "Great." He goes, "Yeah, you know, we're going to see what happens." He goes, "How many of these are you going to make?" I said, "I was planning on making 5,000. He goes, 5,000. He goes, "I'll buy all 5,000. So we were like, "Really?" Like, yeah. We're like, "All right, boom, we're done." We sold our cigars. Our party's done. So it was a blessing in the sense that we sold our first production run. The only bad part about that is that it didn't have the, you know, and it did well. Don't get me wrong. Out of one shop in 9 weeks, we sold out, but we didn't send them to other accounts because he had already bought the whole entire first production, which in essence made him our partner at the time. And because of that, we really grew together as friends. And now basically, you know, he's basically the third installment of Cubariqueño, man. He's great.
You know, it's
great,
like
great
a guy in like Texas. Oh, I'm just going to wait for them to get here. And at that time, it's like, well, we don't even know if we're going to get there, you know. But everybody does have access at the time because you had the internet. But I guess there's people out there that don't want to use the internet to place cigar orders, and I understand that.
Does Berkeley Humidor not have an online presence?
They do very small.
They do, but the thing was,
okay.
It was like, hey, a guy rather buy from a brick and mortar, even though it's a brick,
Got it.
You know, than an online store. So I was like, oh, the people were like, I'll wait till it gets to Texas or North Carolina or Florida, and we were like, we don't know what we're going to do right now, you know. So then we made the decision that we were going to go to the show, and it really worked out for us.
Good answer. Let me ask, here's a trivia question for both of you. Do you know where I smoked my first protocol?
Do I know where you smoked your first protocol?
I posted it on Instagram. It was approximately late July or late June, early July.
I do not.
By a pool.
It was by a pool. You are correct.
You didn't see
I
it.
have a pool, but it wasn't at my house.
Yeah, you were in. It was a weird. It was a different country, right?
It was a different country. Your memory is impressing me.
I know it was by a pool in a different country.
Yeah, I was in Bengaluru, India,
Wow.
on the top of my hotel at the Westin in Bangalore, India.
And I'm assuming you didn't buy it in India. I'm assuming you bought it with you.
Oh no, man! They're totally ripped off your brand over there, man. Just selling it for like peanuts, man. No, someone bought it. Someone bought some, and I wanted to try it on Cigar Federation, so I traded them out something to get like 2 or 3 of the Corona Gordas before I went over there, and I just so happened that they arrived, so it just kind of so happened that they went with me. Because you can only smoke so many Neanderthals over there in the cabs without throwing up to and from work, unfortunately. So yeah, so it was a good mix. But yeah, I can't believe you remember that. It's good. Yeah. Well, let me ask you an unrelated cigar question. You know, what do you think? Just personally, what maybe not even cigar related, but what is your favorite cigar? Well, it's cigar related, but what's your favorite cigar moment of all time? It doesn't have to be related to protocol. Was it meeting someone famous? Was it being able to smoke a cigar with someone you've always like idolized, maybe Jonathan Drew? I mean, what was your favorite cigar moment you've ever had?
I got a good one. I was at the Grand Havana room when Padron was coming out with the 46th anniversary Family Reserve. So there was different sections and stuff. And I don't know how it happened, but we were in the back dining area like later at night, and a lot of people were still in the other room, and I just caught myself. I'm sitting down with Old Man Padron, Jorge, I think it was like a Florida senator, and we're drinking Johnny Blue and smoking the cigars, and we're just talking about, you know, Cuba, and for me that was pretty big, and talking about cigars, and I'm telling them, I think my wife says I smoke too much. And he's telling me, when I can't sleep at night, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, I just grab a cigar, I go downstairs, I smoke it, and it knocks me right out. Tell her that. All right. So, but that was a pretty cool moment.
That's cool. It's really cool.
I've had, I can't name one, but I'm such a cigar nerd that anytime I get to smoke with like a cigar celebrity, like I remember the first time I met Jonathan, first time I met Steve Saka, Nick Molino, Rocky Patel, you know, Eric Espinoza. Each of those are in themselves great moments. I would have to say personally, only because it's the cigar. You know, I know you said it didn't have to be protocol, but probably the night that we actually made that deal over here was probably the most magical night for me, because it was like the beginning of planting the seed of something that was always been a dream of mine. You know, the more I've gotten into it, you know, and I've been to several cigar safaris. I've been to Honduras with Rocky Patel. I've been to Eric's La Zona. I just been to so many places. I've been to DR, and the more and more I got exposed to this industry and this business, it just really blew my mind. And the more I was exposed to it, the more I actually knew that I wanted to do this for the rest of my life when I retired, doing what I'm doing now. And last year, actually, this was actually pretty cool too. I became real good friends with Eddie Ortega, real good guy. I love Eddie a lot. He's the salt of the earth, makes great cigars.
Is he still even making cigars?
I actually went back and I saw a few of your tapes of your shows, and I've heard you ask that question before. And I've actually had this conversation with him personally. I think he took a little hiatus in 2015, but the last time I spoke to him, he said 2016 is coming back strong. You know, it happens, you know. The way this business is, and you guys spoke about it at the recap of the IPCPR, like one of the main things you kept saying, Robbie said a lot too, was everybody's waiting for what's new, you know, the what's new aspect, the wow factor, what's new. And a lot of the traditional cigar manufacturers that kind of like have one brand and they have this building that brand,
that hate it. They're
kind of dumbfounded by that whole thing that, you know, this is a perfect example, the Ortega Series D Maduro, man.
Great cigar.
Yeah.
That to me is just an amazing cigar. I love smoking it. I pair it with the Ronzacape XO. If I was gonna die, I know I was dying, I'd probably be the cigar I'd smoke, or Ronzacape XO. It's delicious. It's just flavorful. Everything you want in a cigar, my profile, is in there. And you know, this thing is, he has a great product, but you got that great product, but people always want to see, you know, what's new, like Robbie said. And the building a brand and it being strong has kind of been forgotten. It's still kind of there, because, you know, people always still have their reliable, you know, standby, the go-tos. You know, I have my humidor, these 2 boxes of Ortega Series D, number 20s, Maduros, and I buy them when they go. Me personally, I love them, but I am also the same thing of what's new, what's this guy doing, what's that guy doing. And I think the opposite of Eddie would be like Caldwell. These guys got something new coming out every other minute, and it's the way the industry is going. Is it going to revert back to that way? Nobody really knows.
It'll be interesting to see if this FDA thing happens. You know, what'll happen. You know,
oh my God.
You know,
it'll be a soul crusher.
Yeah.
I mean, my prediction. I mean, not saying I don't think it's going to happen. I think that there'll be some minor things that'll happen. I think they might. There'll be more taxes. I'm sure, and they might do a minimum price, but I don't think they're going to completely crush the boutique cigars or anything like that. But if it did, I mean, I gotta think the trade show goes from down to probably 30% of the size that it is now.
Right.
And like there won't be a trade show because you'll have Altadis, you'll have a few, you'll have Padron, you'll have Oliva, you'll have some of the Rocky and some Miami cigar stuff. But after that, what do you got?
Right.
Nothing. And I think that'll force people's hand. And I think you made a really interesting point, Bill, is that, I mean, it's just like, prohibition, right? There'll be bootleg cigars. There'll be, black market cigars, I'm sure.
We won't do it, but,
well, not you guys, but in general, there will be. It's good. And I think the bigger impact is think about the town of Esteli where you have, 100,000 people and 35,000 of them work in or related to the tobacco industry. What are those people going to do?
Boutique companies that would probably be
out of do? Nothing.
There's a ton of little small factories in Dominican Republic and Nicaragua that started after that 2007 date, and they're getting going. And yeah, that's going to be a big blow. And how about the small guys that invested in tobacco fields and everything else? Just like unbelievable the impact it's going to have.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't. I'm praying it doesn't. So let me ask. I don't even think we've covered this. So I'm going to try to pronounce the name again. Cubariqueño. Okay. So, but the name of the cigar is Protocol.
Correct.
So I'm a corporate guy by nature. The parent company, and then we have these little sub brands underneath it, or will the next thing be the Protocol Maduro? Like, how is it structured, and how did you come up with the name Protocol, and how did that come about, and how does that tie back in?
I'll tell that story.
The name of the company is Cubariqueño Cigar Company, so that's how the business is run. Obviously our first brand is Protocol, and I think we've kind of like have a niche with that where everybody's associating us with that. So I think what we do in the future, kind of like Tatawahe uses Tatawahe a lot, but that's not the name of their company from what I know. We'll always use probably the Protocol logo and name, and it'll probably be a Protocol, whatever the name is, the next name that we have. We have a couple things that we're looking at right now. And I think that's probably the direction that we're going to go with that.
Okay. Because
all of a sudden, let's say we call it whatever the case may be, it's X, and then, well, who the hell is it? What's X? And half the people can't even pronounce Cubariqueño to begin with.
This is true.
So if we stick with the Protocol, I think that'll be a smart decision with the marketing, and then we can come up with a sub name for it.
So it'd be like Protocol Blue, Protocol Purple, Protocol,
right.
That stuff like that. We're thinking about. We're still toying with that, but that's where we're right now. Where we think it's probably gonna be the best thing because if you look at it, it's actually it stands out the label. That's another thing. We worked on this, and Anthony Jimenez, which is the graphic designer from La Zona.
No, hold on. No. You got his title wrong. He is a graphics engineer.
Okay.
Yes.
No, trust me. I got schooled on this.
Okay.
Graphics engineer.
Did he school you on that?
Basically, well, what happened is they were on CigarChat or something happened. It was a while back. And he was like, I always know him. I know he's great with graphics, right? And I know Anthony well. And I made a comment about, because Rob's a graphics guy too. I'm like, these graphics guys, they're just, they're all about making things look good, no substance, just make it look good. Just totally joking around with him. And he goes, no, I'm not a graphics guy. Like, I'm an engineer. And I was like, if somebody called him an engineer, and I go, oh, I didn't realize you were an electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, a nuclear engineer. I didn't realize you could go to school. I didn't realize you were an engineer. Because mostly those people aren't very good with graphics. He goes, no, I'm a graphical engineer. I go, oh, okay. Gotcha.
So the La Zona graphical engineer.
There you go.
With this. And it really sticks out. You look at the P, it's very unique. Like when we first saw it,
good.
We weren't sure about it. It actually is very unique. It stands out. And now, actually, like the other day, I had Rocky Patel told me, he was like, "Wanted, baby. I'm tired of seeing all this P on my feet. Everything's P, 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 P." So,
That's awesome. That's freaking awesome.
But you know, I was really worried because when we finally went with this design and blue in it, all of a sudden I'm watching somebody's podcast and they're like, "Blue is terrible on a cigar."
Who said that?
I don't want to mention it. So they're like, "Blue is terrible on a cigar." I'm like, "Oh," but then I told Juan, and then he came up with some valid points. I think the Don Pepin Blue is an awesome band.
There's a lot of cigars that have blue.
Yeah. And we didn't know the P is kind of so different than
some masculine color.
What's out there, and it's not like the traditional, guy in the field and all that stuff. But it sticks out, and it kind of like it's a good mark for us. So it's cool. And it's got some meaning behind it.
Got it. So I mean, everything else that'll fall underneath will be, or maybe not necessarily, but will be the protocol purple or whatever. So you'll stick with that. You don't see branching off into, a completely different name to tie it in. You'll try to all keep it under the protocol banner. Because when everyone asks, what I'm smoking, I don't say, whatever the name with the C is. I don't say that. I say, oh, I'm smoking a protocol. You know what I mean? And because it's just so much easier for us gringos to pronounce.
Right.
So, and speaking of new blends, and I hate that vein because everyone on our show have very bad ADD and always ask, what's next? What's next? I mean, but what's next?
So the reality of this is that this cigar has only been around 6 months. So this is still very new to us. And there's a lot of people that still haven't tried it. So we're actually going to wait and let this ride for at least a year. But for next year, we're actually looking at some different blends. If you asked me 5 years ago, if you want to make a cigar, what would be your wrapper? I just love Mexican San Andreas.
Oh God, yes.
I love Mexican San Andreas. So we're toying with that next one. We actually had a few test blends with a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, and we thought it was phenomenal. So that's probably going to be our next thing, because it just, me personally, I don't know how long this is going to last. Maybe next year the FDA says you're done. So before we get a chance for them to, to pull the rug from under us, I want to come out with a protocol Mexican San Andreas. So that's probably going to be next year. And as far as this one, so like we said, we're doing the Toro and the Corona Gordo. And February, is it?
Yeah, February. We're gonna do a soft launch here from Berkeley Humidor of the Protocol Lancero, and see what kind of we love it. We love the way it smokes, and just see what kind of reception we get from it. And if it really takes off, and if it's hot, then I guess we'll bring that to the trade show too. Okay. And if we have down pat the other cigar that we're doing, that'll be out there too. So, and it's kind of like, I'm toying like if we have that, when we come up with this other cigar, how many different sizes we're going to do with it. Because like I said, this stuff gets really expensive and complicated too when you're just doing it, just him and I. So, we're picking a lot of people's brains. The nice thing is the cigar industry is like a great family, because my phone's been ringing with the big guys. Just, hey, you guys are doing a good job. You need advice, call us. We can help you out with this, that. So that's been like great so far. So, we've been asking a lot of people what directions we should go in. So far, so good.
I was talking to Jonathan Drew about 2 months ago. He goes, Juan, man, it's amazing. Think about what you guys accomplished in such a little bit amount of time, and you haven't spent $1 on marketing, advertising.
It's true.
Just keep doing what you're doing. Magazines are going to approach you, and they're going to say they're going to be able to double your business. For right now, you're slow and steady. Keep doing what you're doing. Social media, and he says, think about it. What you've attained has all been pretty much free.
Other than your time, yeah.
That's humongous. For we both have young families, and like I said, a full-time job. So this takes a lot of time from us. But it's a passion. It's a labor of love and passion, and we love to do it. And we're just gonna keep on doing it until the FDA tells us you can't do it anymore, or you guys stop buying them. And as of right now,
and I've already told the wife, no, we're not going to be millionaires.
That's it.
We're lucky if we escape.
But what? We're not going to make millions off of this? That's hilarious.
That's like Espinosa said. How do you become a millionaire in the cigar business?
Get out.
You start with $10 million, and you're like,
get out. Yeah.
A wise man once told me, he goes, bro.
Bro.
Which was that interview would have been the best.
I know that he does that because oh my god, and I totally just blank because like you were there, you saw it. Like there was no pre-planning of that interview. He just walked up. He goes, "I'm you, you're me. Let's go." And I was just like, and I felt like a jerk because like they was asking me questions about the cigar, and I had seen the price sheet briefly, and luckily I have a pretty good memory. And I was like, the special. I heard it's the Reserva or whatever. And I'm just like, dude, I don't know this crap. So he completely threw me off.
That was phenomenal. That was a phenomenal.
It's my best one I've ever done.
It tastes the same. I heard it tastes different.
Well, because, I didn't know because, I get why he's re-releasing the cigar because it was done before 2007, so you want it to be the same. But I was like, dude, there's no way it can be exactly the same.
Right. So
back in the day, you're using Aganorsa and tobacco, Pepin, and all this. There's going to be differences. And dude, it was the best interview ever. I watch it like probably once a month when I need a good chuckle.
Great. So Eric goes to me and goes, bro, you want to be a millionaire? I was like, yeah. He goes, start off as a billionaire.
Start off as a billionaire. That's awesome. Well, in that vein, what is the best piece of advice that you've gotten where you were like, holy crap, that is, oh my God, I can't believe I'd never thought of that. Or, oh my God, like, I'm so glad I know that's going to save me thousands of dollars. I mean, what you can share. I mean, what's the best piece of advice?
Me personally, the best piece of advice I got was basically hindsight advice. With the first production run, we did 5,000. A few people said, with you and Bill and your following, you could have done 10,000 monkey turds and put your name on it. You would have sold 10,000 sticks quick. But it's easier said than done. I don't think we had the faith in our social media. I don't want to say power, but our social media presence and the following we had, that these cigars went that fast. We really thought that when we made these cigars, they were going to be sitting on the shelf for several years, and we were going to smoke them our own. And that's what actually made us come up with this blend. Because another piece of advice somebody told us was, try to make a cigar that satisfies everybody. Try to make a cigar that makes everybody happy. Try to make as many customers, potential buyers happy as they can buy your cigars. And me and Bill said, so we said, screw it. It's just going to be me and you smoking a cigar. If we're going to be smoking a cigar for 3 years, let's be something we love. And we actually love this blend. And we said if we smoke this for the rest of our lives, man, we'd be more than happy.
That's the thing, like catering, and we made this cigar because we loved it, and the next one we're going to make because we loved it. And I watched like an interesting thing with Jonathan Drew at the trade show, and they said, "Oh, this is the first time after all these years you're coming out with the shade, the Connecticut shade." And he goes, "Yeah, because we just wanted to do what we do. Now it's time, So they finally did it, but they did it their way, and it's kind of, that cigar is not very mild at all, and I think it appeals to a lot of people too."
It's true. I mean, I've definitely noticed that. I mean, and it's just an observation, is that people that make cigars that they like always seem to do better when you're trying to make a cigar for someone else. Because typically, if you're going to like it yourself and could smoke it every single day, then there's a pretty good chance there's other people that are going to want to smoke it every day. When you're trying to make something for someone else that you don't maybe like or think is right, it never seems to turn out very right. At least not from what I've noticed. And it's interesting. I mean, you brought up an interesting point about the Vitolas, right? Like, I mean, most release, unless it's a limited edition where it has like one Vitola, I mean, typically 4 to 5, right? Different kind of variants. And I've kind of noticed this with some smaller companies when they come out, they're coming out with just 1 or maybe like 2 like you did, right? You kind of have the connoisseur size, which was a great way to put that. And then you kind of got the pipe shot fastball right down the middle, right? And with the Toro. I mean, if you wouldn't have done those 2 sizes, what would have been the other 2 sizes you would have done?
Well, a box press.
We were looking at a box press.
And he wanted to do.
Yes,
he likes big ring gauge cigars. He wanted to do a 6x60. I said, "Yeah, I'm done. That we're not doing."
Yeah, but no. You never know though. Like in a brick and mortar, now that you guys are going to be more than Berkeley Humidor, I mean, it might make sense because I mean that is a brick and mortar crowd. But I don't think necessarily your social media following would be the first thing. I think they'll probably go more berserk over a Lancero than a 6x60.
Yeah.
And that's interesting. So, next, I mean, you know, going to La Zona and working with the people there. I mean, I've noticed that, you know, there's been House of Emilio, and it's not that you guys are House of Emilio, which is not even really, I guess, House of Emilio anymore, but La Zona's kind of got a lot of the same vibe. But when we were over there in the trade show, I mean, you have, you know, Santana, you have you guys, you have Moiriz, you have Espinoza, you have Aaron Doza. I mean, you've got everyone. I mean, there was a guy that's like a piano player or something that was there. Am I thinking of the right guy?
Patelli?
Yeah. You guys are like all of a big family. I mean, how do you think that, you know, camaraderie and almost family, that family style feel has helped you guys?
I think I'm going to just do 2 minutes on this. I think, me personally, on this note, I could not be happier because, you know, like, it is very family. As you can see, Fernando, the national sales guy, he was in the area and he saw that we had this session with you guys, and he actually came down here to hang out with us for a little while, and for Jose, and I met him for the first time at the IPCPR, and we hit it off good. And Hector, I love Hector. He's great. Me and Danny Moya, basically, we speak pretty much every day. That's like my new brother, and we talk all the time. He's probably tired of talking to me, but that's the kind of level of family, you know. Aaron Doza, Pops, I talk to him. The only one I don't really talk to is Catelli, because he actually calls himself the redheaded stepchild of Zona, but he's not, I guess, in the mix as much as everybody else, kind of.
Right.
I can actually, what I could see happening is, you know, is like we did one event recently at a shop called the La Zona All-Stars. We had La Jugada, Protocol, Arandoza, and Espinoza. I could see that. It's difficult because not one brand would shine more, but it really promotes the La Zona family more. You know, so you have to spread the boxes. And let's say if it was the Protocol event, we would sell 20 boxes. Now you got to sell, you know, 3 boxes of La Jugada. So it cuts into what, I guess, the business aspect of it all, but the family aspect really promotes it. I'm all about the La Zona family right now. You know, I helped start that La Zona Facebook page, which is pretty cool. And
I get messages from that damn thing every day. I mean, Jesus, I need to limit my messages, but I mean, it's every day.
It took, in 2 days, it went to 2,000 members.
Crazy.
It's people have been posted. It's actually taken off really, really nice, and they're very happy with it. And I think everybody in the zone is happy to be part of it, you know.
And we're grateful to Eric. You know, we're just starting up, and you know, money's tight, and we're flying by the seat of our pants here, and he helped us out, and he gave us a space at his booth, which is, you know, a huge favor to us, and that's something that both of us will never forget, and it really helped us out a lot. You know, we went to the show with a goal of maybe just getting 10 accounts. You know, after standing there for a couple hours and you get one, you're like, I don't know if this is going to happen. And now we have 30 accounts, and we cut it off because we want to just be able to have great interactions with these retailers and make sure that we're on top of everything. But that was like the biggest favor that he did for us. And I don't know, you know, if other guys would do that. If somebody else is making their cigar for you, they're like, sorry, kid, you know, you guys got to just go on your own and do it. This year we're gonna have our own space, and we're able to work it out. But that was just a huge step for us to get the ball rolling here.
Thank you, Eric, for that. Appreciate it. Eric's good people, salt of the earth.
He's a good dude. Let me ask you, if you were going to battle royale in making a cigar against one person in La Zona that you thought you could not defeat, who would it be and why?
I would definitely say it's Eric himself. His cigars now are just phenomenal, from the Especial to the Habano to the.
Have you tried the L'Orange Kasha yet? The actual box.
You mean the Kaisis?
Yeah,
that thing is sick.
I mean, it smokes so differently compared to the regular line, and you know, that's been a huge favorite of mine right off the bat. I think that's going to do really well in all the top 25 polls that come out at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's definitely a good cigar. I mean, Eric's been around forever, right? I mean, he's been doing this for a long time. But you know, I think it's interesting because you guys have a very diverse group of people. I mean, you've got, you know, Danny and I always forget the other guy's name.
Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson. Sorry, buddy. I totally totally forgot your name. But then you've got Santana. You've got just a very diverse group. So, I mean, it's definitely always fun to come and hang out in you guys' booth. So, and you'll have your own booth this year. So we've got, a couple minutes before we do the After Dark segment, and I want to make sure we have time. So, first of all, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Our guests enjoyed asking all the questions. So let's wrap it up with any parting words that you guys have and where they can find you, on social media and how they can contact you if they have any questions.
All right, so real quick, I just want to say we're one day removed from Veterans Day, and we're on the Armed Forces Radio, and we would say thank you to all the soldiers out there, fighting for our freedoms, and thank you very much, and we just really appreciate you guys, and thank you for what you do. Cheers for you guys. See you guys.
Yeah, and just for soldiers that we're looking to if they wanted to try the protocol, they can actually get in touch with us, and we'll make that happen. We've done that for a couple guys overseas. But if you go to our website, Cubariqueño.com, there's a tab there for retailers, and you'll see all the retail shops. We've pretty much we're able to spread it out all over the place. Some shops have the protocol already, and the second shipment should be going out next week. So we hope you guys enjoy it, and give us your feedback on it.
And where's an online store that they can pick them up?
They can get them at BerkeleyHumidor.com. I know Cigar Federation is going to have.
Thank you.
So that'll be big for us because you guys have a humongous following, and I think that's going to be a great relationship that we have.
I believe those are the only two online presence we have because Berkeley's really small. They're basically their online presence is basically whatever they have in their humidor. Basically. From what I understand, talking to Bill Agatis, when he put it out, he just wanted to spread out his footprint a little bit more. So instead of it being like a Berkeley store, maybe other parts of Jersey, maybe even Pennsylvania, New York. So he did that, and it gave us a good opportunity because not only New York and New Jersey, Pennsylvania guys, but we had guys buying from Hawaii, Texas. It was really cool when it was happening, and basically it was just me and Bill. We worked this out with them like. So he did us this favor, and we want to give back. So this is very grassroots, hands-on. Everything we do is me and him. We actually make the packages. So when they were selling stuff out of Berkeley, me and him would actually make.
You make these packages?
Not those. I
was gonna say you've got some skills, bro. Because it looks like a Nicaraguan put this together.
Thumbs are too fat for that.
You see them?
I know, man.
You guys are, being partners with Cigar Federation. I think is going to be great, and that's going to be a good thing for us, and we thank you.
Thank you very much for believing.
We're excited.
That was amazing.
Oh yeah. What number of a customer were we? We're like 13.
I think a day 2.
You're probably like 15.
I'll take it. I'll take it as long as it wasn't 13, because that's just not enough.
What were your thoughts on it? I know it's actually been received pretty well. We got somebody in Cigar Federation gave us a 90. So we got in the 5 months we've been out, we got 3 90s, a 92, and a 93. So pretty decent for being a cigar. It's only been in the market for like about 5 or 6 months. But on a personal note, Logan, what do you think of it? You smoked both the Toro and the Corona?
I have. And I'm a little more critical of cigars. That's why I don't rate a lot of cigars, because people get really pissed off at me when I give them ratings, because I can be very critical. The protocol for me is a cigar that I think it actually, sometimes I almost feel like I kind of made the cigar, because it is for me. It is, it's something that I like, right? It's got enough strength, but plenty of body. It's got plenty of pepper, leather, earth. And it's smooth. People don't smoke probably pipe tobacco, but if you do smoke pipe tobacco, you're going to know what I'm talking about here. Is Dunhill Baby's Bottom, right? It's pipe tobacco, or Balkan or Sobrani, right? It's very clean. Like, I don't get any mouth funk. It's a very clean finishing cigar. And, it's one that the Toro, it's kind of, I bounce back and forth between the Toro. Like, the Toro for me, I think is a little smooth. I think the Corona Gorda is a little more rough around the edges. Not much, but a little. But I enjoy the cigar. Like, am I going to run out and purchase 27 boxes? Probably not. Well, for the store, yes. But for my personal consumption, probably not. But will I have them on hand to smoke? Absolutely. If I was to rate, I'd probably give it an 88.
Very nice. Coming from you, I heard you're very harsh. So that's good.
I am very harsh.
So we'll come over tonight.
No, I'm very harsh. So with that, guys, we'll wrap it up here. Appreciate everyone listening on the Armed Forces Radio Network. We'll be back next week, same time, same place with Gunslinger Cigars. And with that, we are out. Cubariqueño, out.
See you later, guys.
And we're fucking back. And we can cuss all we want. It's so fucking hard every week not to cuss during the show. And I think we all did a very fantastic fucking job.
Good. I was trying to be very cognizant of I got a sailor's mouth. My profession, I'm always cursing all the time.
So I know where you work, and I won't disclose it on the. Well, we're not on the Armed Forces Radio Network, but we're on the podcast and the video now. I won't disclose it where you work unless you want me to. But I always wondered what do you do there? Are you like stopping terrorists from coming in, like bringing packages in? Are you like directing like cranes? Like what the fuck are you doing?
Stopping people with cheeseburgers and taking them and eating them.
I was like, what are you doing?
Well, basically just doing regular patrol stuff, We're just being present. Presence is like the biggest deterrent of crime, terrorism, and all that stuff. So it's hard. The profession we're in now, it's hard now. You guys see it on social media all the time. The media has us portrayed as devils. It's a tough job, but I feel bad for somebody who's getting into it now. I got 3 years left. Bill has about 3 years left. I can't.
Are you working the same place?
No, different departments.
Different places.
Okay, different place. Okay.
So, but we still have the same amount of time on, so we just can't wait to get out. Every time somebody asks what you do, I say I'm a garbage man. He says he's a plumber. I say we pick up shit all the time. So
you pick up shit all the time. That's awesome. So with it, I can see why you guys can't get down to Esteli, because in government type jobs, you're not going to get 8 weeks off of vacation. But how do you keep the business running? You guys are in all these retailers now. How are you going to make time to get out for events and get out for I'm just making this up, but Cats Fest or any other event? How do you guys make time for that? Is it cutting into your vacation time, or are you just using sick leave? How are you doing it?
I have a different schedule than Juan does. The way I do it is I work for 4 days, and then I have 4 days off.
Oh, okay.
So then if you take your vacation and you lump it in there, you take a day here and there, you might have 5 or 6 days, and it'll work out. So pretty much we've exhausted everything, but next year, we'll be planning for a lot of things, and we can do it accordingly.
So for next year, I already put in my vacations to land right around the IPCPR. That's a big one. I got to have all 4. And then Eric actually doing something very interesting in March. March 31st to April 3rd, he's doing like a La Zona party at his warehouse where he's grabbing about 50 guys from social media, guys that are very present, very active on social media. We're going to go down there, and he asked me to be a part of that. And so I put in for time for that. Now, as far as shops wanting to do, that's the big thing. A shop opens up. You know what it is, and it's the way the business is. You have a cigar. Me being a consumer, and I'm the same way. Every cigar has a face. Yep. You want to see the person, like for Drew Estates, Jonathan Drew, for Rocky Patel. Every cigar geek wants to meet the cigar guy, the face to the name, and it's going to be difficult for us. So we're going to try to do as much as we can. Again. We're not doing this. This is not our bread and butter, so this is not 100% of our time. We got to kind of like balance it. So things like local places.
We landed a lot of East Coast places.
Yeah, thank God.
The only bad thing about that is we're going to have to be in a car together. So
yeah.
You fat guys are like, we're going somewhere.
Hopefully you guys don't have a Prius. You'll be fucked.
Juan's car has got to be the smallest car.
Got a car.
Right? It's a
Toyota Corolla.
So for
dog.
First of all, you need a tetanus shot to sit in the car, right? It's disgusting. So then I sold a motorcycle, and I'm like, you got to give me a ride home. And then we're in the car driving home on the interstate, and I'm like, oh my God, we're touching. We're touching. I'm like, this is disgusting. Get off me.
Dude. So, let's look at 2016. Well, first of all, we're doing a bunch of giveaways. So I want to get that knocked out so we can keep asking a few questions. Is that you guys very much appreciate donated 6 of these 10 packs to all the weasels out there. We're giving away a couple out on social media and a couple places to drive traffic for the show. We'll leave those. If you know where they're at, enter the contest. If not, go fuck yourself. But we've got, I think, remaining, if I do the math correct, no, I gotta do math here because you guys didn't put them in 20 count boxes, so I'm gonna get it all screwed up. So we have 6 remaining 5-packs for winners. So to enter, I want you to email me, Logan at Cigar Federation, put Cubariqueño in the subject line, and you must spell it correctly. Andale, and in it say, what should the name of the next protocol cigar be?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then we'll pick some winners before we leave tonight. So email me now and get on it. So, with the East Coast, I mean, so let's look into like next year, right? 2016, we're at the trade show. I mean, do you see a progression of, okay, well, let's do some more, central accounts or West Coast, or is it a strategic thing where you're trying to build out until you both retire, build out the East Coast, and then you'll have time to be able to travel? I mean, what do you see next year, your goals going into the trade show? Is it tripling, doubling? I mean, what do you think your goals are?
Well, here's something funny. Nothing, and I mean nothing that we've done so far has been like planned. It's all kind of just happened. And since it's me and him, basically, we're our own sales force, we're our own distribution, we're our own everything. It's right here. We from the janitor up to the presidents and the co-founders, we're all it. So we're doing everything ourselves, and we got to kind of gauge what can we do, So right now with the 30 accounts we have, is probably the max we could do right now. If once things get flowing and things become easier, maybe we could see, maybe we could add 10 more. We'll open it up to 10 more people. We have a waiting list already. I hate telling people no, but we have told people no, and just say, the thing is, we don't want them to get lost in the sauce. Kind of, with you, if you have any kind of issues, you're not going to talk to a secretary. You're going to call up me or Bill, and we're going to try to figure out what exactly is going on. Like we have one issue already. Store owner contacted me. I spoke to Bill. We rectified it. That's how we're going to be doing things. So until we grow bigger, we got to take it as much as we can handle.
I like the way it's spread out right now. I mean, we do have it in a lot of different states, so that's cool. Obviously, it's not in a ton of stores in each state, but and the whole internet thing helps too. It's kind of like you always have it available. Right now we've just listed Cigar Federation and Berkeley Humidor that'll have it. So, for the people that can't get it, I think realistically, right now we're at 30. We're figuring out, how to manage the 30. Yeah, I say if we did 15, 20 tops more, because it's slow. It's, this is something like a hobby that we're taking seriously. It's a business too. There's money involved here, but I don't want to get so overwhelmed where, we just don't have time and you can't send this out and we can't send that out and we're just so busy we don't know what to do. So right now we really have a handle on the accounts that we have, but we'll see how it goes, and I'm sure shipping out with this next shipment we'll learn some lessons too, and we'll see what we can manage by the time the trade show comes around next year.
Look, let me ask you a quick question. Dean Parson was on about a year ago. So
I like Dean. He's a good dude.
He's an awesome dude. That guy's been to my house. My wife's cooked for him. My kids sat on his lap. He's just an awesome, awesome guy. We've been friends now for about 3 years, and I consider him like family. He's a real good guy. He was on the show about a year ago, and he mentioned me, and you were like, well, I can't sell. I see that guy all over the place.
I didn't know who the fuck you were. I didn't know what you did.
Now that you see kind of this, like I'm just a regular cigar geek and this is happening, what's your personal take on it? What do you think about something where, we're not cigar guys that started off as cigar guys and then did a social media thing? We're basically, I can't think of any other cigars, and I ask people this in the industry, and they can't think of any. Can you think of any other time when a cigar was made for a social media presence, a person or something like that, and it's been like this, like it's been happening pretty successful, or I want to hear your thoughts personally.
I mean, I'm trying to think. There's been a few guys. We've had, for example, for me personally, we've had the Crown Heads, Buckingham. We had some stuff done with Viaje, but it's not like I'm trying to turn that into a, not necessarily a business, but it's not like I'm trying to create a line out of the deal, right? Like I'm not getting accounts. It's just for our community members. It's something cool, whatever. I think there's a lot of people that I would say that come from your background in terms of loving cigars, but not necessarily the side of where you were at and like doing the reviews and being active and going out and being like a guy on social media like that active, right? I don't think there's anyone like that. And the reason I didn't know is because, and I'll tell you a funny story. It's not really even a funny story, but the reason I said I didn't know who you were because I've seen you on, and I didn't know if you were writing, for a cigar magazine. I didn't know what you were doing. I just saw you were everywhere, and I knew that you were friends with Jonathan, and I heard a story about when you and a few other people were down in Nicaragua and had an altercation with someone, and I won't tell you who it is, but you could probably figure out what I'm talking about. And I didn't know. I didn't know if you were down there making a cigar. I had no idea what you were doing, and that's why I asked. But now I know.
I remember. Okay, I was just curious.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I recall one.
Okay, and that guy rubs everyone the wrong way.
Mine's really was it super?
Everybody, including this guy included. And I'll tell you a story once we get off air about. Anyways, we won't go there. But yeah, no. I mean, I think that you guys are doing it the right way. I mean, I'm very surprised. I'll be honest. Like some feedback for me. Two things is one, I'm very surprised when you said like, oh, next year we might add 15 accounts. I'm fucking shocked that you said that because most people have had a little bit of success, and I've seen this 1,000 times. Is someone will come out with a cigar. The easiest cigar to sell is your first one.
Right.
The hardest cigar to sell is your second one because you could sell anyone a fucking dog shit rocket, but the second is will they buy it again? And I think people make a huge mistake. At least my opinion. People make a huge mistake is where they do their initial production, it goes through, and then they go fucking balls deep and buy 50,000 cigars, and then they're sitting on them for 2 years or 10 years or whatever. So I applaud you for saying like 15 accounts because if I was making cigars, I would rather have 30 or 40 accounts that are buying from me every month and continually purchasing, and I'm making happy as shit, than 100 accounts that don't really buy shit or buy once a year at the trade show.
And that's the thing that I see here, and I think that's kind of helped us on the retail end. Like, before I got into this, you might buy this brand of cigars, and that person might check it off. Yeah, I have a shop. But like, we still have cigars that are sitting there from like 3 trade shows ago, and we can't even get the first order. It's like they still consider it. Yeah, I have that shop, but it's like that's a done deal.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. The one thing I would caution you against, and I think you guys have already seen this, is that even though you're not really planning for stuff, you kind of got to plan like. Because I'll tell you right now, I guarantee you, I can't remember how much we were at the trade show, $20 or whatever it was. I guarantee we'll sell it out in a month or two. And the thing that I see a lot of small guys make a mistake of, and I can tell you a couple examples offline, but where they have a really hot cigar and they don't forecast the demand. And then the worst thing for a retailer is, and I think the worst thing for a new brand is that, yes, it's great. You get this huge bump. You sell out of 5,000 cigars. Great. You ordered 10,000 more and you sell out them, and then you're waiting another 5 months or 4 months to get them in stock. I think that's detrimental because in that time that people can't get your cigar, they're smoking something else. Do you know what I mean? So that planning, I think, is huge to be able to get when somebody calls you up and says, hey, man, we just sold out at 20 boxes. Like, can we get more? And you're like, man, fuck, I'm sorry. We sold out. And we don't even going to have shit for 4 months. Sucks.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Yeah. And we may be in that situation, That's why we have to, we're really sitting down with the numbers and seeing where we're at with all this stuff. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. So,
like I said, everything's learning, and you're totally correct. That's been going through my head like crazy, and you're trying to figure out, are these going to sell at these shops? And if they do, then you're looking into what you have in inventory and everything else. So, and then you want them to sell, and you don't want them to just sit there like I was telling you. But yeah, it's a learning process. I'll tell you that.
And the reality is this is all coming out of our pockets. So would we love to just put a production run of 100,000 and just let it ride? But think about it. That's money out of our pockets, and we do what we can afford, and we grow small, and, hopefully exponentially eventually. But right now, it's just baby steps, and I would love to, if the demand is there, do the supply, but it's until. We're a company in its infancy until we figure all those growing pains out. We're gonna have more bumps in the road, and hopefully, eventually, if this is a long-standing product, and our personalities and the product itself, because the bottom line is the product, and me and him could be the biggest celebrities, biggest jerks, biggest whatever, biggest best times. But if the product is the shit product, it's not going to sell. So I actually believe in this product now. Well, if I didn't believe it to begin with, I wouldn't have put it out. But I just didn't think so many people were gonna like it like they're liking it now. But if this continues and we just kind of do things with our hearts and with the passion, the love that we have, hopefully, I'm just hoping for the best. You know, eventually, hopefully, we'll grow where we could be work more smoothly. But right now, it's just gonna be, you know, little by little and bumps in the road, and just try to make everybody happy.
No, I hear you. Oh, here we go. We've got a few answers in for the contest, and I'm trying to scroll through them right now, and I can barely keep up with them. There's so many coming in. Oh, that one's pretty funny. So I'm trying to get some of the best ones here, but let me just read a couple of these choice nuggets to you. And there's one in here that I think is going to cause you to shit your pants. It was fucking awesome. The next cigar should be called 918. It's the police code for crazies. I think that'd be the protocol 918. Amazing. The next one you should have a Lancero and make it a 7x40 and call it the Fat Bastardo, because you guys are both fat. That's what they said. Kind of mean.
That was going to be the name of the cigar, but it was trademark. Fat Bastard.
It was trademark. I would say if anyone would make a Lancero after me, I'd have called it the Husky Lancero. You know, make it like a 7x42, the Husky Lancero. And the next one is not that great. Let me get a couple more here. Oh, this one was good. The next one, they should be named Justified because of the police reference jobs.
Like that.
Yeah.
Protocol Justified. So I will email out everyone who won here because I have to sort through other ones because I've still got some coming in. Make sure you email me in the next hour, and I'll email if you're a winner. So with that being said, you know, Juan and Bill, any kind of parting words? Ooh, the next one should be called the Lockdown Maduro, reference to throwing people in jail.
That's good. I just want to give shout-outs to some of the people here in the New York and New Jersey area that really support us. The Brothers of the Leaf New York chapter, Brothers of the Leaf New Jersey chapter, the Smoking Shields, which is a cop-only cigar club that are on Facebook, and Ben, one of our friends, is one of the executive officers in there, and we're getting a lot of support from a lot of groups out there, you know, little cigar clubs, and we're pretty much happy with everything that's going on, and you know, social media is what's driving us. And you know, Jose Blanco told me one time, he goes, "Oh man, I gotta slow down with these posts." He goes, "Are you crazy?" He goes, he said to me, once you've reached a moment when you say you've posted too much, post 10 times more. So we're just gonna keep posting, and you know, protocol is on.
Unfortunately, Logan doesn't want you to be in his feed though.
No,
I know. Well, I love when Juan's in my feed because it's always something interesting. And, you know, and I know that you're friends with this guy, but I am just fascinated by Matty Rock.
yeah.
And I don't know why. I've never met the guy other than IPCPR. I said hello to him, and he couldn't pick me out of a crowd. But I am fascinated by that guy.
He is an interesting character, to say the least.
Character, man. And your shit, too. It's interesting. And I'm okay with that. But I do not like is getting 1,000 emails from groups saying, "Oh, Juan posted in La Zona." I'm like, "Oh, I already saw that 6 times."
Go into those settings and
I know. I just haven't done it yet because I'm lazy. But anyways, I'm just giving you hell. It's more of a testament to how much that fucking group has blown up in the last couple of weeks than anything else.
I want to say about 3 weeks that group's been on, and everybody. It's actually a testament to the social media, but it's also a huge testament to Eric Espinosa and the impression he leaves on people. And you know, you meet him once, and you're like, "Oh my God, I gotta hang out with this guy all the time." He's an amazing human being, down to earth, just your regular guy. Like one of his slogans is "From the Streets." You know, on one of his shirts, he has "From the Streets." Yep. He doesn't forget where he's from. He's a street kid, and you know, different jobs, from UPS at one point to he worked with. He was a rep for like Drew Estate, Rocky Patel. You know, he's come up the ranks. That guy to being a brand owner with Eddie Ortega, and they did some great stuff. Now he's got his own factory. It's pretty good, you know. So you know, it's amazing.
Agreed. So with that, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up for the night. So I mean, really appreciate it, you guys coming on, taking the time to chat with us. And for everyone, make sure you check out I'm always trying to like pronounce the name of your company, and then I just fuck it up. Then I got to go back to the damn page and then look at it.
Google Protocol Cigar will come up. Don't worry.
Yeah, the protocol. You know, it's Cubariqueño Cigar Company. Check out their website.
We originally wanted to call the actual cigar Cubariqueño, and then Eric Espinosa was like,
"Oh, that was a smart move,
bro. These gringos can't pronounce that. You crazy, bro?
This is true. This is so true." I would have been like, but then everyone would be calling your company name. So it's like kind of like the chicken and the egg. Do you want everyone to be able to pronounce your company's name or the name of the cigar? But I think you made the right call for sure. So with that, any parting words, guys, before we sign off?
Thank you very much for having us. Your garage, I guess it's your garage, looks great back there.
Yeah, I got the reindeer. Can you see the reindeer?
Do some target practice.
How good did you do with the target? I can't see. Is that?
Oh, that's my wife, actually.
It's in a mass.
That's my wife. Yeah, she's a pretty good shot. I mean, we had our house broken in, not this house, but you know, like I don't know, 6 years ago. And I mean, I'm a pretty decent shot. But we have guns in the house and stuff. But she was really freaked out because I travel a lot internationally and just around domestically for work and stuff. And when we got our house broken in 4 or 5 years ago, she's like, I need to learn how to shoot. And I was like, you need to first learn how to load the fucking gun. Then let's talk about how to go shoot. But we took her to the range, and I was like, I feel pretty confident if anyone comes into my castle, they're not going to be walking out of my castle. Yeah. That's for pretty damn sure. But yeah, so I always hang that up as a reminder to her to be like, just remember that if anything ever happens, you know how to shoot. Right. So.
No, thank you. I appreciate everything.
Thank you, Logan. Thank you, Rob. Man, you guys do a great thing, and you know you really perpetuate the whole social media aspect of cigars. And social media for cigars is probably the most important thing. You know, no other industry, you know, do they have the restrictions where you cannot advertise in magazines, TVs, and this. So basically, the only thing cigars the industry has is social media and a few periodicals. You know, some great magazines like Cigar Aficionado, Cigar Snob, Cigar Press. Maybe there's 4 or 5 of them. But other than that, there's nowhere else for guys in the industry to advertising. So social media and everybody out there that's posting pictures of cigars and doing their thing, man, they're very important and a vital part of this industry, including you, the bloggers, the podcasters, all that stuff. So important. And you guys keep doing what you're doing. And my hat's off to you guys. And thank you, Logan.
I appreciate it, guys. Really, really appreciate it. So with that, guys, we'll be back next week. Gunslinger Cigars, same time, same place. And with that, we're fucking out.
See you later, bro.
Peace out, y'all.